and welcome to or back to Miss Craftslott's Lair. I am Barbie, and today I have a confession, but we'll get to that. So, yesterday I left off by saying that I had some running to do and I was potentially going to Michael's. So, before I left, between the time I edited that video, uploaded it, and I left, I did start on a new project. So, this is how far I got in a raglan sweater. It is on hold for a reason. Um, and if you ever wonder, like when I put stuff on hold, this is my cheat sheet right here. So this is my cheat sheet. I use a whatever, if it is a, in this case, it's a knockoff post-it note, sticky note. Um, so I use either a sticky note or I use a piece of paper and a piece of tape. And I write down what size needles I am using. If I am using a crochet hook, I use the color coordinated uh, stitch marker to say what size, or to remind myself when I go back to it, what size hook I was using. But in this case, I'm using a knitting needle, so I had to write down what size I was using, because all of my knitting needles, well, my knitting needles are not color coded. So yeah. So that was that. And then we went out, and because we got to the city just a little earlier than what we had expected to, I had about 15 minutes to spend in Michael's. I got a little bit of footage, which is this. However, I didn't get very much because walking in, a cousin tapped me on my shoulder and we stopped and we talked for a little bit, probably a little too long. And then I ran into some ladies that work there that I talked to. And so I didn't get a whole lot of time to like look around the store. Part of the reason is because I was on full tilt boogie because I knew exactly what I wanted to get. I was toying around the night prior, so 2 nights ago. I was toying around with the notion of remaking a sweatshirt that I have in a hooded sweater form. So I did all the math and I probably did get too much yarn for it. However, too much yarn is better than not enough yarn, especially seeing that, yarns, big, big company yarns don't change as often as like single dyers, single batch dyers. But I still wanted to get enough of a quantity. And if I do overbuy, I have other stuff that I can do. So that is my confession. So I got a $5 voucher from Michael's. So, like, within 12 hours of me figuring out how much yarn I was going to have to buy for this, and the time that I got my voucher was like 12 hours of sleep time. And I was like, well, if I've got a $5 voucher, that's basically getting a skein of yarn for free. And yarn was on sale. So I figured it was going to be kind of not bank account safe for me to wait. So I ended up saving like $16 total with the voucher and the yarn being on sale. So my confession. I bought them out of yarn, of this color yarn, or at least I think I did. There was nothing left on the I think I bought them out of this particular color. I didn't see, like, there was no more on the shelf, and I didn't see, like, I didn't look for overflow for this color because they had just enough on the shelf for what I needed. So I walked away with 8 of these. And they are slightly brighter than what I had originally went for. I had guacamole in my stash. And this is a little story on why I got this particular color. Because I had guacamole in my stash. Now, if you cannot tell, props to the cashier at Michael's, because when I came up with eight of 8 skeins of yarn in this color, she looks at me and she goes, "This isn't for maybe something Grinch related, is it?" Yeah. So I had guacamole. This is where I'm coming from here. I had guacamole that was older. Probably I want to say that guacamole was 2023. And I don't know why, but once I got into the store and saw guacamole in the store, I don't know if it was the store lighting or if maybe they did change the dye lot, for, configuration mixture for it. It did not, it seemed almost too dark. So I so I stopped another one of my friends that works there, and I was like, "Hey, help! Which one do you think is more Grinch?" And we both agreed that this is more of a Grinch color. So, this one is jasmine green, and it is from 2025. So, and I got all of them are the same. Yeah. So yeah. So that is what I'm going to be starting on today. Um, as far as the weather goes, because I had also talked about the weather yesterday in yesterday's video. So yesterday we were trying to beat the storm. We successfully beat the storm because the storm kind of slowed down a little bit, or it started like dissipating before it reached our like general vicinity. So we were able to beat the storm. We My city got like a lot of the rain part of it. And even to the point where this morning it was still warm enough that it was rain and things were still melting. That has changed. It has turned into this. I did get this is because I woke up before the sun came up. So I had to wait for snow or for the sun in order to show you what it looked like outside. This is what it looked like when the sun came up and I could film. It's been like blowing snow on and off, and I've been seeing that the road conditions have been deteriorating since I woke up. So I'm home for sure today. So I am going to start on this. I have my book still to read more of. I've only gotten like what I had said that I have gotten read the other day is all I've read so far in that book. Um so I have that to do. I have this to work on. And I do have to tackle finishing those few projects. So I'm thinking the projects will be early morning tomorrow morning. And I am going to spend the day in my living room drinking coffee, watching the weather outside, and either knitting or reading. A mix of both, back and forth. So that is what happened yesterday and for today. Yeah. Yeah. So um I am going to go for today for this video, and I am going to probably get some recorded footage of me playing around with yarn and working on a Grinch hoodie. So until next time, bye.